Starting to make the beat.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Ozarks Sports Report YouTube show. Here joined by the head coach of the Strafford Lady Indians, Coach Steve Frank. And for today's show, we're going to be doing a weekly recap with the head coach of the Strafford Lady Indians, Coach Steve Frank. Recapping their games from the past week, Strafford had wins all throughout their games in the past week. They've played Cardinal Ritter and defeated Cardinal Ritter by a score of 70-51 up in St. Louis. Then that was where they tied the record with Marshfield with 102 wins. Then Strafford came home and played Republic, and they defeated Republic by a score of 69-42 at home. That's where they broke the win record with 103 wins, which is the state record. And then the Strafford Lady Indians also went up and played Lincoln College Prep on Saturday and defeated Lincoln College Prep by a score of 54-41. Coach Frank, what was the main focus that you had going into this week with Cardinal Ritter, Republic, and Lincoln College Prep?
Well, I think the mental part was the biggest aspect, with all the attention that everyone was giving the record that was in hand and those type of things. We played, in a tournament the week before in Rogersville and had three games there the week before and didn't have a lot of time to prepare before we made the trip to St. Louis and played on Monday. And so it was more of a making sure that we were mentally focused and mentally ready to play than anything in those ball games, just for the fact that we had, had played so many games there in a short period of time, plus had the stress of everything else on top of that. So taking one game at a time and just being mentally ready to play.
Taking a little bit of time and also being mentally to play. So what are those advantages that you had in those games between Cardinal Ritter, Republic, and Lincoln College Prep?
Well, Cardinal Ritter, very athletic, very quick, very big. They have three kids 6 foot and above, and then they've got some really quick guards and have a kind of complete inside-out game. And the biggest key going into that ball game was to contain dribble drive and give them one and done every trip and handle the pressure, because they really got out and put a lot of pressure on the ball. And so those were kind of the keys in the Cardinal Ritter game was winning every possession and making sure that we didn't turn the ball over. And that, we did a pretty good job of that, and, had a great backing. We had whole one side completely full of just all Strafford people, in a trip that's a 3-hour trip. And so it was kind of neat to have a bigger crowd than they did, and we traveled 3 hours to get there. So, that speaks volumes for our community and our fans.
Now, you got to talk about those disadvantages that you guys have. Even though you're undefeated, you're 22-0 on the season. What are those disadvantages that you have seen throughout those 3 games with Cardinal Ritter, Republic, and Lincoln College Prep?
Well, I think the disadvantage is, in every one of those games, and kind of as the year has gone through, is just the added pressure that, the kids have put on them, and, making sure that we go out and play every single game, because, all year long, we've gotten everybody's best game, and, they kind of have our game checked on their schedule, and we try to never look ahead and try to just play the next game. And a lot of times, it's easy to go out not prepared or not ready for what we get. And, just the fact that we get everybody's best game, really puts a lot of added pressure on our kids to make sure that, we're mentally and physically ready, every single ball game, and make sure that, we're ready to play every game.
Now, going out of that topic of disadvantages now to those corrections, you're going to be taking on Forsyth. That's going to be on the 31st. That is going to be on Thursday. What are those corrections that you're going to be making in between the game against Lincoln College Prep and then the game against Forsyth back home?
Well, we're actually going to take, since we don't have a game tonight, we're going to take today off and try to rest a little bit today, and then we'll come back tomorrow and start preparing for them. Of course, that's a conference game. They're, I believe, 2 or 3 games above 500 this year, so they're playing pretty well, and we'll come in tomorrow and kind of break down how we're going to play them defensively. That's usually kind of our biggest focus is kind of how we're going to defensively play the other team, and then we just try to take care of ourselves after that. And so that's kind of the way we'll approach this game on Thursday, and that's kind of the way that we've approached all of our games is just make sure that all of our defensive assignments are in check, and everyone kind of knows who they're guarding and what their tendencies are. So we'll do the same on Thursday.
Now we have to talk about those players of the week from those three games against Cardinal Ritter last week, Republic last Thursday, and then Lincoln College Prep on Saturday. Who would be your player of the week that shined out on the court for your girls against those 3 teams of Cardinal Ritter, Republic, and Lincoln College Prep?
Well, I mean, if you look at the scoring column, we've had about 3 kids all pretty equal all the way across the board in all 3 of those games. Haley Frank and Kaylee Frank and Madison Chittenden have all contributed pretty solid and pretty equally across the board. But where our team has been successful and is successful is our balance all the way down through, and we get so much out of all of our kids, and all the way down to number 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so in all of our games, everybody comes out and tries to take away your biggest strength or your couple biggest strengths, and our bench is probably our most valuable player, just for the fact that when people try to take away things from us, they're able to step up and really give us a lot. So if I had to give a player of the week award, I'm going to give it to my bench, because they really are what makes things happen for us.
Can't count on that bench during games. Also, we have to talk about another topic which is coming up in just a little less than a month, in about middle of February, end of February. That is going to be districts. What's your district going to be looking like? Where are your districts going to be at?
Our districts are going to be at Clever, which our district is very, very solid. We have Clever, Fairgrove, and ourselves. We got Buffalo, probably is. I'm not for sure on the. I would say that Clever, Fairgrove, and us are going to be the top 3 seeds, and then you're probably looking at Buffalo, Ava, and Forsyth, kind of all mixed up there in the middle would be my guess. But Clever and Fairgrove being a conference school, anytime you play, your conference people, it's always a knockdown drag out, and it's playing at Clever. If we have to play Clever at Clever, that's not going to be any fun at all. And then if we have an opportunity to play Fairgrove, I know us in Fairgrove year in and year out. Every year I've been at Strafford, it doesn't matter what the situation is, it's always a great game. So, I feel like our district is going to be as solid and as tough as any district that we've played in over the last few years. So, it'll be interesting to see how all that goes.
Also, now to talk about one game that you guys had against Republic. That was where you guys broke the 102-win record that was set by Marshfield. Just up the road from you guys, about 12 miles to you guys, just up I-44. What was the atmosphere that happened in your home gym when you guys broke the record with 103 wins against Republic?
Well, of course the hype level was incredible that night. If you could play every game with that type of atmosphere, it would be unreal. Our gym was packed to the top, and there was people standing anywhere that they could possibly stand, you couldn't put another person in the gym, and then of course made the noise level and everything really incredible for that game. And the kids really, I think, will have one to remember in that ball game. And it was kind of neat. We had a couple of the past players from Marshfield that were here at the game too, and after the game was over with, came down and took pictures with the kids, and so that kind of made it even that much more special. When the game was over, that they were able to kind of share that a little bit and kind of understand that, hey, there was a very good team, and everybody tries to compare us to that Marshfield team, and I always tell everybody, I say, they were special in their way and in their air, and this team is special in its way and its time frame. And I don't want to really compare teams, because I don't think it's very fair over a 30-year span to the basketball has changed and the style has changed a little bit, and all the schools have changed a little bit. So it's just a special thing, and I really take my hat off to the Marshfield and all their coaches and all their players that were part of their run. And now for these girls to have their time and have their run, it's a really special time.
If there were any final words that you had to say to all those coaches that you played from Cardinal Ritter, Republic, and Lincoln College Prep, what would your final words be to those coaches that you played from, once again, Cardinal Ritter, Lincoln College Prep, and Republic?
Well, all those games were very good games. I mean, the Cardinal Ritter game, we trailed almost the whole entire first half until the end of the second quarter, before we finally took our first lead of the game. And that was good for us, was to go out and have a game like that. And they were as quick and physical. I mean, they were very physical. Maybe not quite as physical as Cardinal Ritter, but athleticism and just their overall quickness was probably the quickest team that we've played all year. And I felt like to all three of those coaches and all three of those teams that I felt like they really pushed us, and they made us better for when we hit our playoff run, getting districts and beyond. Those type of games are the games that are going to make you better. And so, they have very good ball teams, and I wish all of them luck as well when they hit their districts.
Okay, that's going to wrap up our show for today. We hope you enjoyed our show. We hope you enjoyed us sitting down with the head coach of the Strafford Lady Indians, Coach Steve Frank. If you'd like to stay connected with them through their social media, be sure to like them on Facebook. Also follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter is at Strafford GBB. GBB for girls basketball. Also check out their website. Their website is at strafford.k12.mo.us. You can find all their schedules, links, highlights. Also you can check out misha.org, which that's where they also put their schedules up throughout the seasons. If you want to stay connected with us through our social media, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and check out our website. Our website is ozarksportsreport.wixsite.com/ozarksportsreport. One final time, I want to thank head coach Steve Frank of the Strafford Lady Indians for sitting down with us and recapping the last games from the past week. For one final time, I'm Adam Smith from the Ozark Sports Report saying, have a good day, everybody.